This is our PBL project, The Geometrical Town, by Mariana Velasco and Talhaguda. The English component for our project was a narrative essay. The reason why we picked our project was because it was a rather interesting topic to research about, which was how geometry is around us. We explained in our essay of how our project was put together and the thoughts we put into the project. The end result was a town not only based on geometry and math, but also the real world and its features. We added details of the locations and what they would look like in our town. This project can allow students to realize that we live in a world filled with geometry, but we don't notice it all the time. This project can prepare students for a field like architecture, where people design buildings out of shapes and have to measure their proportions and locations of where exactly are they. The SS connection for our project was basically to research city zoning laws of what they are and how does that affect our project. Basically, zoning laws are certain criteria of how a city should expand, such as don't build a neighborhood in the wrong location or a bus route in the middle of nowhere. Using that information, we can look into how our cities should be laid out, such as where the school should be or where the houses should be. This is something to add more realism, and also something that seems more proper. Geometry is everywhere in the real world, but many people fail to realize that everywhere they look, that thing has to do with geometry, such as a town, where buildings have a certain basic shape or roads that intersect with each other. The key driving question is how does geometry relate with the real world? And this project is the answer to that question. For our project, we use a board, cardstock paper, markers, glue, and a ruler, as well as other decorations to make the town look really nice. Using the ruler and the cardstock paper, we created the buildings, and then after creating the buildings, we mounted them down onto the board using glue. After getting all the buildings into the correct positions, we added the roads, and then highlighted them with the markers. After creating all the basic things that needed for the project, we put in any extra details to make the town look more realistic, as well as to make it look a bit more creative. The final result for this project is a town inspired by the real world, and then adding some mathematical tweaks to create a town made of geometrical shapes. This project allowed us to use our knowledge on geometry and math, as well as some creativity to give the town some sharp looks, and ended up with a final product of a miniature town that is primarily made of geometrical shapes. This project can benefit students in the future, especially those who are interested in the field of architecture, where people design buildings and have to deal with shapes, measuring of dimensions, angles, as well as scaling buildings on the blueprints. This leads to the conclusion that geometry is around us everywhere we look. Thank you for watching our PBL project from Harmony Schools.